Rich Hill pitched an absolute gem, and Alex Verdugo extended his hit streak to 8 games with a home run in Wednesday's 3-1 win over the Orioles, all while wearing those yellow City Connect jerseys, no less, at Fenway Park.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. I am your host, NESN's Lauren Willand. Jake did go to the game on Wednesday, so he is taking tonight off. Do not fear, he will be back tomorrow. But let's take a look at Wednesday's game in this episode of Locked On Red Sox, which the Red Sox obviously could not have lost. David Ortiz was in the house. He caught the ceremonial first pitch. We have to talk about Rich Hill and just how dominant he was. Take a look at Alex Cora's pregame comments from Wednesday about who and who will not head to Toronto for at least Friday before the vaccine requirements are lifted. And we're going to look at Alex Verdugo and just how good he's been for the Red Sox. And of course, we need to talk some Tristan Casas, because what is Locked On Red Sox without talking about Tristan Casas? But the Red Sox are now winners of 2 straight. Woohoo! All right. Too little, too late. But we know these wins mean nothing anymore. We know this. But it's still good to take a look at things, the good things here, and take some positive notes from what we have left of this season and look forward to 2023 and see the positives that we have there. But before we get into the offense, which only needed 3 runs on Wednesday to beat the O's, Rich Hill at 42 years old, he looked so sharp on Wednesday. Mr. doesn't want to pitch clock. Mr. doesn't really want to change the game too much, but he does want to make it faster. He was having words with batters who were calling timeout, basically being like, man, get back in the box. I have the ball. Remember Ryan Brazier in 2018, I think, when I think it was Gary Sanchez and he told him to get back in the box and then ended up striking him out to end the inning? Electric, probably like the shining moment of Ryan Brazier's career with the Red Sox. But Rich Hill was basically like, do not call time when I'm ready to throw the ball, but got the job done. He was at his best Wednesday, to say the very least. He had 6 shutout innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. And there's only 2 Red Sox pitchers at the age of at least 42 to throw 6+ scoreless innings and strike out at least 9 players in a game. Who was it besides Rich Hill? It was Rich Hill. He did it on August 27th against the Tampa Bay Rays, so not too shabby. Ryan Brazier, Caleb Ort, and Matt Barnes combined to pitch the final 3 innings of the game. Ort gave up a hit, an earned run. Barnes gave up a hit that ended up bringing the tying run to the plate. So we're like, here we go. Your classic Matt Barnes. When is he going to break? When is he going to melt down? But he did not. He got himself together. He was the difference maker in order to seal this win. But before we get to the offense, we'll get to the offense in the second segment of Locked On Red Sox. But the story here was Rich Hill, and we will talk about the offense in the second segment of Locked On Red Sox. But after the game, Alex Cora just had heaps and heaps of praise for Rich Hill, and of course he did. Why wouldn't he? He said that his willingness to compete and not take one pitch for granted is what makes him special. And I think it does. I think that he knows he's 42 years old. He's seen a lot. He's been around a lot. He's been around for a very long time, and he's very good at what he does. He's got a craft and he knows, he owns it, and he likes what he likes. Yes, he's had his bad starts. He's 42. I mean, even the young guys have bad starts. Even Jake DeGrom has bad starts. Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, though rare, all of the best pitchers in baseball have bad starts. And there's been talk of whether Rich Hill will return to the Red Sox or in baseball in general next season at the age of 43. And he did make some comments about maybe pitching half the season, kind of a unique way to still pitch, but still be around for his family. He is from Massachusetts, so he was really emotional after the game, being able to talk about being with his family while still doing what he loves. And he did tell WEEI's Joe Castiglione and Will Fleming after the game in the Sox booth that he said, I'm going to come back next year. I have plenty left in the tank. That's ambitious. And listen, I applaud him. He will be 43 when next season starts, whether that's with the Red Sox or whether that's with another team. Go for it. I would prefer if the Red Sox put their focus on Xander Bogaerts and the bullpen and maybe getting a starter or 2 for next season before locking people up like Rich Hill. I don't hate the idea of bringing him back, but I don't think he should be a priority by any means, but we don't have to talk about that just yet. That is a fun conversation for the offseason. But in Rich Hill's last 4 games, he has pitched a total of 20 and 2/3 innings, 20 hits, 8 runs, 6 earned runs, 6 walks, and 24 strikeouts. He's 2-1 over that span with a 2.61 ERA. He will get one more start before this Red Sox season ends. Hopefully it's on a high note, and hopefully he can kind of replicate what he did, especially this last outing. And we saw him dominate earlier in the season. And like I mentioned, he did get choked up when he was talking about being able to spend the year pitching in Boston, being close to his family, not having to be away from them for so long out of the year. He said he's definitely pitching next year, and he would definitely welcome returning to the Red Sox next year. He's convinced that this team will be in a better position to win in 2023. So if that is the case, if he is fully convinced that the Red Sox will be better in 2023, that's now him and Kike Hernandez essentially saying that this team will be better. Kike Hernandez says that Chaim Bloom promised him, didn't tell him, promised him that this team would be better next season and they would have postseason aspirations. Basically how I took it as that this offseason is going to be very successful for the Red Sox. But until we see pen to paper, we see announcements from the official Twitter account, it's all speculation right now. But if you have Rich Hill saying that he's convinced this team will be better, if you have Kike Hernandez saying that he was promised this team would be better, you have to think there's at least some conversations going on in the clubhouse, whether that's with the players, with Alex Cora, if even front office has had private conversations behind closed doors with these players being like, look, sorry about this year. We stunk. End of the story. But next year is what we're focused on. Next year is pedal to the metal. We're going to figure this out. We're going to be contenders. We're going to be competitive. Okay. All right. I'm listening. My ears are perked up. Well, I wish, it was Xander Bogaerts saying things like that or Rafael Devers, but you still have to think that this Red Sox team will be better in 2023. You have people like Tristan Casas, like Alex Verdugo, still going to be on this team next year. We will talk about them in our second segment of the Locked On Red Sox podcast as soon as I tell you about BlueChew, because it is fall now. Summer is over. The nights are getting longer, but the breeze is not the only thing that's getting stiff around here. That's right. This episode is sponsored by BlueChew, guys. We all know that confidence can take you so far in life, and that's especially true in the bedroom, especially when it's time to step up to the plate. And that's where BlueChew comes in, because BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, but in a chewable tablet and at a fraction of the cost. Take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready when that opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part is that it's all done online. So there's no visits to the doctor's office. There's no awkward conversations. There's no waiting in line at the pharmacy. BlueChew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. With BlueChew, men everywhere are excited to see the postman, because when your package has arrived, your package has arrived. They always say the first impressions are important, but what about lasting impressions? Get off the couch, get back to work. If your tool needs an upgrade, head to BlueChew.com. If you could benefit from some extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. And we've got the special offer for you. Try BlueChew for free with your promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. All you have to do is just pay the $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code LOCKEDON to receive your first month for free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring the podcast. So we would be remiss if we did not talk about the offense, as good as Rich Hill was in Wednesday's game. And we'll start with Tristan Casas, because I praised him on Wednesday's episode. I have no idea what day it is anymore this week. This week, for whatever reason, is just messing me up. I told you on Wednesday's episode that it felt like a Friday, so that's where my mind is at right now. But Tristan Casas, he has been incredibly patient at the plate, and I praised him on Wednesday's episode about that, and he continued to show that in Wednesday's game. And just incredible patience at the plate. And he did strike out in the 8th inning, but he did go 1 for 2 while reaching base 3 times on Wednesday. And according to the Boston Globe's Alex Spear, his 16 walks are the 3rd most ever for a Red Sox player through his first 21 games. So this just goes to show that he is willing to work that pitcher. He is willing to be patient. He's not swinging at the first pitch 9 out of 10 times probably. So it's really good to see that he's so young, he's poised at the plate, because his offense is where he needs to work the most on his development. So I'm excited that he's continuing to show this patience at such a young age, very poised, very confident, has a lot of confidence at the plate, even though his numbers don't exactly show it. But I am very excited to see what this guy brings to the Red Sox in the future. If he continues to be this patient at the plate, he's going to be a pitcher's worst nightmare. Abraham Almonte also had a home run, and Alex Verdugo had a home run of his own, and he extended his hitting streak to 8 games. He's been wonderful for the Red Sox, not just those last 8 games, but really since the All-Star break. He has 3 multi-hit games over those 8 games. And then Simon Miller, it's an analytics account on Twitter, his average exit velocity, this is according to that analytics account, of Alex Verdugo's average exit velocity is 105.49 miles an hour. His average launch angle is 24.8 degrees. His average projected distance is almost 400 feet at 399.7. And that's averaging all of his home runs. So that just goes to show that he has been making a ton of contact, fast, hard contact with every single home run that he has hit. And this just kind of built off of what he was doing in the beginning of the season, because Verdugo was hitting the cover off the ball in the beginning of the season, but he could not find the home run threshold. He could not get the ball to drop into play. He was making some incredibly loud outs, and you could tell the frustration was building with him, and the ball just never was deep enough, wouldn't drop fast enough. But he has really found his groove in the second half of the season. So now the Red Sox have one more game against the Orioles. It's a getaway day. It's a 1:35 start. I will be there on Thursday, so come say hello if you're there too. Nate Eovaldi will pitch for the Red Sox, and then they head to Toronto for a series against the Blue Jays. And speaking of Toronto, Canada still has their COVID-19 vaccination requirement. So you still have to be vaccinated against COVID-19 to enter Canada until Saturday. That will get lifted over the weekend, but Friday, the Red Sox will be missing 1 to 2 players. Alex Cora would not name who they were, and that's fine. We'll probably figure it out Friday anyway. We may even figure it out Thursday when they end up leaving for Toronto. But Brian Mata and Jarren Duran will travel with the team. Duran, you probably remember, was not vaccinated at the beginning of the season, missed a series in Toronto, ended up getting vaxxed, threw a bunch of hissy fits because he couldn't play defense very well, never took accountability for it, demoted back to Worcester. And the Red Sox season came to an end on Wednesday. Their last game, unfortunately, was canceled due to the field being in unplayable conditions. So Brian Mata, Jarren Duran are now available. Ronaldo Hernandez and Josh Winkowski also will be with the team. That's according to Mass Live. So we'll see. Like I said, Alex Cora didn't name the players, but I think we'll know when 1 or 2 players are not with the team, not on the roster on Friday. But sounds like they can come on Saturday and Sunday. If that will be the case is to be determined, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We still have one more segment here on the Locked On Red Sox podcast. As always, it is our mental health minute. So some sad news broke Wednesday during the Red Sox game is that rapper Coolio died. He was just an absolute legend. If you're an 80s baby, a 90s baby, I'm sure you're listening to him, even if you're not an 80s or 90s baby. Just a really amazing artist of my generation. He was constantly played his song. I mean, Gangster's Paradise is constantly played on radio still. It's on my playlist. It's a really good song for me to lift to. I love working out to Coolio. He's only 59. So just a sad day in the music world. He, like I said, he's someone I loved growing up listening to. He was just always on the radio stations. But it's just another sad reminder that we never know when our time is up. Just make sure you are constantly telling your friends, your family, your loved ones that you love them. And you don't have to, shout at them that you love them, but make sure they know. Because if you were to die right now, if you were to die tomorrow, would you be okay with the last conversations you had with some of these people? Are there any stones you don't want to leave unturned? Are there amends you need to make? Are there people out there that you want to fix things with for whatever reason? Make sure you do that, because tomorrow is never promised. I hope his friends and his family can find some sort of peace during this difficult time. And I will continue to blast Coolio in my car no matter where I'm going. And I also would be remiss if I did not send positive vibes to those in Florida being impacted by Hurricane Ian. The footage coming out is just really scary, and it looks like it's something out of a movie. It's, I live in Massachusetts. I have lived in Massachusetts my entire life. We've gotten smaller hurricanes. We get a lot of snowstorms, obviously. So I don't know what the impact of these hurricanes can really do. Fortunately, I'm very fortunate to have never lived through one of these. The footage coming out of Florida, it's sad, it's heartbreaking, and it's kind of scary because it's nothing that I've really seen in my lifetime or experienced in my lifetime. So just sending all the good vibes from Boston to Florida. But let's end our show there. Thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Locked On Red Sox right here on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast is where you can find us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at LO_Red Sox, Jake at Jake Iggy, and then me, Lauren, 3 Laws, Lauren with 4 R's. And be sure to check out all the other shows across the Locked On Network. Locked On Yankees, Aaron Judge finally hit his 61st home run. I'm sure Stace is super excited about that. Locked On Astros, Locked On Braves, Locked On Blue Jays. Everyone does such a great job here bringing you baseball content Monday through Friday. And now that you've made Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day, head on over to Locked On MLB to make it listen number 2. Friend of the pod, friend of mine, Paul Francis Sullivan, but just call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective of Major League Baseball, both past and present, using his humor, using his insight, using his knowledge. It is a must listen. You can subscribe to it right here on YouTube or for free on the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcast. It is where you can find Sully and Locked On MLB. Have a wonderful Thursday. If I don't see you at Fenway Park, I'll see you Friday. I'll see you over the weekend maybe, and I will see you next week as we prepare for the final week of the regular season. But until then, let's go Red Sox.